Hare Krishna. So, welcome you all on our 90 episode book reading. And today we are on day 13. So we'll be reading today three chapters again 26, 27, and 28. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome you all again. So, yesterday we have seen how Krishna did the pastime of Govardhan, like lifting the Govardhan hill, just like an umbrella. So he was lifting a huge hill, and so that under the shelter of that hill, all the Brajavasis, all the cows, they could come up, and he is just lifting as if he is holding an umbrella. And that's how he subdued the pride of Indra. And let's see today 26th, the chapter name is Wonderful Krishna. So in this chapter, Nanda Maharaj describes Krishna's opulences to the cowherd man, as Nanda had heard of them from Garga Muni. So the cowherd men, unaware of Lord Krishna's power, were amazed to see his various extraordinary activities. The man approached Nanda Maharaj and told him that after seeing how Krishna, a boy only 7 years old, had lifted a mountain, and how he had previously killed the demons Putana and generated extreme attraction in the hearts of everyone in the Vrindavan, the man had become doubtful and bewildered about how Sri Krishna could possibly have taken birth in the unsuitable environment of cowherd community. Nanda replied by relating to them what Garga Muni had told him about Sri Krishna. Garga Muni had said that in the previous 3 ages, Nanda's boy had manifested himself in white, red, and yellow forms, whereas now in the upper age he had assumed his darkest bluish form of Krishna Rupa, because he descended as the son of Vasudeva. One of his many names is Vasudeva, and he has innumerable other names indicating his many qualities and activities. So Garga Muni has predicted that Krishna would prevent all sort of catastrophes in Gokul. He will spread unlimited auspiciousness and increase the scarcity of the cowherd men and women. In the previous age, he had provided protection for the senility Brahmins when they were harassed by low-class dacoits and there was no proper ruler in society. As the demon in the higher planets can never defeat the demigod who have Lord Vishnu on their side, so no enemy can ever defeat those who love Krishna. In his affinity of his devotee and his opulences and power, Krishna is just like Lord Narayana himself. So this is how Nanda Maharaj is explaining that he is as if like Narayana, but actually he is Narayana himself. And the overjoyed and awestruck by Garga Muni's statement, the cowherd men concluded that Krishna must be an empowered representative of Supreme Lord Narayana. Thus they worshipped him and Nanda Maharaj. So all the cowherd men now they started worshipping Krishna as in representative of Narayana. Also they started worshipping Nanda Maharaj. So this is how we see how wonderful Krishna is. He has shown his opulences, the pastimes in Vrindavan, like lifting Govardhan hill and killing so many demons. And let's enter to chapter 27, and the chapter is Lord Indra and Mother Surabhi offer prayers. So this chapter describes how Surabhi cow and Indra, having seen the amazing power of Lord Krishna, performed a bathing ceremony for him. Ashamed of having attacked Vrindavan with a violent storm, Indra secretly came before Lord Krishna, offered obeisances and praised him. Indra stated that although Sri Krishna is never caught in the current of this material illusion, which is born of ignorance, he nevertheless accepts the human-like body and performs various activities to establish religious principles and chastise the wicked. By this means, he crushes the false prestige of those who presume themselves great controllers. Indra went on to declare that Sri Krishna is the Father, the Guru, and the Lord of all living entities, and that in the form of time he is the agent of their punishment as well. So the time is again incarnation of Krishna himself. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, "I am the Kala," and the time himself. So time is basically the agent for punishment of everyone. So we see in due course of time we get punished by laying our body toward death. So satisfied with the Indra's prayer, Sri Krishna told him that he had stopped the Indra Yajnas so that Indra, puffed up as he was with false pride, would remember Lord Krishna. Persons intoxicated by material opulences never see him standing before them with a rod of punishment in his hand. Therefore, if the Lord Krishna desires the actual good fortune of some person, he brings him down from his position of opulences. So it's basically how Krishna has actually saying that we should not be puffed up by our material things. Whatever we have achieved, it's all because of Krishna's mercy. And when we think in that way, Krishna blesses us. Otherwise, he brings us down from his positions. So it's like basically we might be a very, very rich, very opulent in this life, but we don't know what next coming to us. So we might get punishment in this life or in the next as well. So that is how, if we surrender to Krishna in this life, then the next life will become more better as well. So Lord Krishna ordered Indra to return to his proper position in heaven and serve there without egoism. Indra, although with the cow Suravi, then performed the wedding ceremony of Krishna using the water of heavenly Ganges and the milk of the mother Suravi. Indra and the cow took the opportunity to bestow upon the Lord the name Govinda, and the demigods showered flowers and recited various prayers. So this is the way before going back to Indraloka, Indra with the mother cow Suravi, they did a wedding ceremony for Krishna himself. That is how we end chapter 27 or our episode 27, and we'll start 28. Krishna rescues Nanda Maharaj from the abode of Varuna. So this is a pastime of Ekadashi, and tomorrow Ekadashi as well. So what happened? This chapter describes how Lord Krishna brought Nanda Maharaj back from the abode of Varuna and how the cowherd man saw Vaikuntha. The king of the cowherd, Nanda Maharaj, observed the prescribed fast on the 11th day of the lunar month and then considered how to break his fast properly on the 12th day, or 11th day is called Ekadashi and 12th is the Dwadashi, and when we do fasting on Ekadashi and break the fast on the next day. So by circumstances only a few more minutes remained, and so he decided to take his bath at the very end of the night, although astrologically that was an inauspicious time. Thus he entered the water of the Yamuna. A servant of Varuna, the demigod of the ocean, noticed that Nanda Maharaj entering the water at the time forbidden by scriptures and took him away to the demigod's abode. So here as been said, we should be taking proper time to enter the water of the rivers as well. And how they carried away Nanda Maharaj to the demigod's abode. In the early morning, the cowherdman unsuccessfully searched for Nanda But Lord Krishna immediately understood the situation and went to see Varuna. Varuna worshipped Krishna with great and variegated festivity, and afterwards he begged the Lord to forgive his servant for having foolishly arrested the king of the cowherd. So, see, as we say, no one knew where Nanda Maharaj went, but Krishna, as being situated in everyone's heart as a Paramatma, he knew very well where what had happened, and directly he went to Varuna to get his father back. And then Varuna prayed, gave obeisances and praised Sri Krishna, and he asked for forgiveness as well. Then Nanda Maharaj was amazed to see the influence Sri Krishna exerted in the court of Varuna Deva. And after returning home, he described his experience to his friends and relatives. They all thought Krishna must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself and wanted to see his supreme abode. Thereupon, the omniscient personality of Godhead arranged for them to bathe in the same lake where Akrura would have his vision of the absolute truth. There, the Lord revealed to them Brahmaloka, which is realized by great sages in their mystic trance. So, this is how Krishna showed his opulences to everyone there. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Be connected with me, and we are on 28. So, we are heading towards 90. Thank you very much.